What if I told you that right now, in 2026, more than 100 brand new laws quietly went into effect across America, and most people have no idea any of them exist? These aren't boring tax rules. They decide whether an AI can be your therapist, whether a robot can be your landlord, and whether a chatbot is allowed to talk to your kids. All of them passed in under 12 months. Welcome back to the channel, where we break down the biggest stories in artificial intelligence and what they actually mean for your life. Today we're talking about one of the biggest AI stories of the year, the explosion of state-level AI laws. While Washington argues about whether to regulate AI at all, state lawmakers have been sprinting. As of July 2026, states have enacted more than 109 AI laws, and that number keeps climbing. By March alone, lawmakers in 45 states had introduced over 1,500 AI-related bills, more than the entire volume from all of 2024. So what are all these laws actually doing? Who's behind them? And what does it mean when every state has a different rule for the same technology? Stick around, because this affects all of us. And before we dive in, if you want to stay ahead of the AI revolution, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. It's free and it helps the channel. Let's start with the numbers, because they're genuinely staggering. As of July 1st, 29 states had already enacted AI legislation this year, and by the end of 2025, 46 states had passed some kind of AI law. These aren't symbolic resolutions. They're real, enforceable rules with teeth. The fastest growing category? Companion chatbots. The AI companions people talk to on their phones. Over 100 bills targeted these systems, and 14 became law. States like California and New York already require chatbots to warn you that they're not human. Now, dozens of states are adding age verification, parental oversight, and protections for minors. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle suddenly agree on one thing, that AI companions need guardrails, and fast. Now here's the twist that caught almost everyone off guard. Data centers. For 15 years, state governments handed out tax breaks to data centers like candy. That era is over. In 2026, 28 data center laws were enacted, and for the first time, they're about regulation, not handouts. Oklahoma passed a law forcing large customers to pay their fair share of electric grid costs. Alabama set up new reviews for massive power contracts. Idaho limited which water sources data centers can use for cooling, huge in the middle of a megadrought. And Washington and Maine actually rolled back tax exemptions that had been on the books for years. Why the shift? Because AI data centers are guzzling electricity at a pace nobody predicted, and the power bills are landing on ordinary ratepayers. So states are finally asking the tech industry to pay its own way. But here's where it gets interesting and messy. The federal government is fighting back. In December of 2025, the White House issued an executive order called Eliminating State Law Obstruction of National AI Policy. Let me translate that. It created a special task force to sue states over AI laws deemed too burdensome, and floated withholding billions in broadband funding from states that pass onerous regulations. This is a massive power struggle. Washington wants one national standard, or no standard at all, and states want to protect their own citizens. The result? A patchwork. The rules for AI in California are different from the rules in Texas, which are different from the rules in Florida, which is considering its own AI Bill of Rights. For companies building AI products, this is a compliance nightmare. For consumers, the protections you get depend entirely on the state you live in. So what's actually in these laws? Let's get specific. Consumer protection is a top priority for both parties, with at least 6 new laws this year alone. That means forcing AI companies to be transparent when you're talking to a bot, giving you the right to know when a decision about your loan, rent, or job was made by an algorithm, and creating paths to appeal. Oklahoma nearly passed a law requiring a trained human employee to review and approve high-risk AI decisions, with real decision-making power. Think about that. The idea that no machine should make a life-changing decision about you without a human in the loop. Some states are even restricting AI in elections, banning deceptive deepfakes and requiring disclosure when AI is used in campaign calls. 5 more states passed election AI laws in 2026. The message is clear. States are no longer waiting for permission to regulate AI. Now, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Honestly, it's both. Supporters say state experimentation is the whole point of American federalism. California can test aggressive consumer protections, Idaho can pioneer water-conscious data center rules, and the best ideas can spread. They point out that federal action is slow and gridlocked, and waiting for Washington means waiting forever while AI races ahead. Critics say the patchwork is chaos. A startup selling an AI product in all 50 states must navigate 50 different rulebooks, which is expensive and could push smaller companies out of the market. The biggest tech firms have armies of lawyers. Your average startup doesn't. And there's a real risk that states with the toughest laws just push AI development to states with none, which helps nobody. So here's where we land. In 2026, America is running the world's biggest experiment in AI regulation, and it's happening at the state level, one bill at a time. 109 laws and counting, covering everything from the chatbots in your pocket to the data centers powering the internet. The federal government is fighting for control, states are fighting to protect their people, and in the middle of it all, the rest of us are just trying to figure out what's allowed and what isn't. The truth is, this is only the beginning. As AI gets more powerful, the laws governing it will only get more important and more personal. If you want to stay ahead of every twist in this story, subscribe and hit the bell, because we'll be covering it all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.